We are here for Monday morning. Yep, pulling in the garage, pulling in the garage, pulling in the garage. Is that Al? No. Anyway, my hair, my hair after last week is like, woo, I put a couple of bins and twins in it, whatever you want to call it. It'll do. It'll do. Listen. You know, I'm thankful to have a daughter, cause we gotta go DC, got the primary. I'm still debating. I'm like, hey, what's the point of me going? Like, I ain't, but I'm gonna go, cause like I said, I need to go, and I'm not enthusiastic about any of the candidates because they don't represent anything that I'm interested in. But the ruling out criteria for me is I'm going to support a male. But I don't even like the male, right? But I'd rather support that than, because maybe we can get him to act like a man, or act like, operate like a man. But I'm sick of females, especially pity pat for a criminal and all things whack female policies. So yeah, I'll go out and do that, because I'm not putting my name to none of that garbage. So Janice, let me come back to Janice again. I'm sick of seeing her on TV, her and Kenyon, honestly. Now I'm starting to see too much Robert Wright, but that's okay. I just pay them no mind and laugh. So Janice, one, we got her, talking about curfews will be a problem for the children. It's supposed to be a problem for the children, but it's not supposed to be a problem. It's a boundary. Everybody had a curfew when we had mature parents going on, or mature elders, but now that we have all these felders out here in political positions that shouldn't be, like her, we have all these issues with unchecked, undisciplined Proverbs 19:18 children that we are allowing to go the way of their own demise and death, and hand us our demise in a lot of instances. But aside from her criminal love and lust, because she probably has some criminals that she's raising or has raised that she wants to protect, that's fine. Do that on your own time. But the next thing I see that she's about is the safe injection sites. Now, we have those already. I remember when the people was mad when it came out that Joseph Robinette Biden and them had approved, was it crack machines or whatever machines they had approved up in Philadelphia or wherever else. And people were like, oh, no, they didn't. So you know me, I had to go find the documentation and share it, because I'm like, y'all got me. Like, do y'all really think somebody's talking about something and it's not? Come on, man. Come on. Now, yes, do people get lied on? Yes, they get lied on all the time and taken out of context. But me, before I start saying anything, I go do my homework. I'm not ignorant and foolish like a lot of people around me. So I'm not gonna start saying something or talking about something unless I know what I'm talking about. I wish more people tried it. But anyway, so Miss Lewis, Janice, is talking about she supports safe injection sites. Now, if you all have not seen zombies around leaning over or looking discombobulated, or laid out on benches around in the city, that's either because you haven't rode around in the city, you haven't seen it. But we all have the internet now. You should have seen videos, and if you haven't seen them in DC, you've seen them in California, because people show you how bad it is. Philadelphia, different places where they have these policies. Seattle, Washington. Oh, Seattle's a hot mess. All of them a mess with all this foolishness. But what I want to say to you all is, because we don't have a population of wild elders like we used to. So let me. I'm self-appointing myself. Well, I already have, but We have enough issues with substances. You don't need a safe injection site. What you're doing is they're talking about making it safe and clean. Listen, fentanyl and all this stuff is ravaging and has ravaged a lot of this country. So I'm glad to see that mess being taken on. But aside from that, drugs are not only hurting adults, they're hurting our children. These children don't need to be on nothing else. They are on prescribed drugs. You got boys being over diagnosed and medicated in order to weaken them and make them docile. You have boys and girls both now under the guise of transocrat politicians and Hollywood and Frankenstein, Mr. Potato Head doctors giving them medicine to mess with their hormones, their biological makings by wait a minute, by God. Do you realize that when you do certain things to your body, which is unnatural and goes against the way that God designed it, that's why a lot of things are happening and backfiring. You have a lot of different side effects and ailments and things of that nature. And then also it's throwing people's mindsets off. Most of these people out here now on some type of drug, and then the drugs that they're taking and smoking. I told somebody, but we've been had this conversation a long time ago, and now we're all finding out that it is true. The weed that is being smoked is not the weed that was out when we were coming up. Weed already makes you overthink, paranoid, and all kinds of things. But now they are putting different chemicals and things and other drugs to weed. So you see these kids, they already on God knows what, Ritalin and Adderall, and they pop perks, they pop E-pills, they just pop anything. So now you want to add all of that with pharmaceuticals for depression, obesity, but most of all to make them into genders that they're not supposed to be. So you really think that all this medication, all these drugs are helping? I remember when DC had it up for a vote, not the first time, because the first time I was young and dumb, and I told people I was young and dumb, and I voted in support of medical marijuana in my early, because I was a teen. It was like 18, 20 when they did the first vote. Now later years, I was 28 when the vote came back around, and I was like, no. It's a hard no, because as you get older and mature and you start thinking, and then you watch the world and you watch the effects of certain things, you're supposed to think a little wiser. Unfortunately, I knew that when I was coming along, it was adults older than me that were doing their job. They were going to make sure that those who cannot think straight for themselves were not going to have the access or the opportunity. But I knew when I was voting, when they had to legalize marijuana on the ballot, the last time, and it got voted for, I didn't have no faith in the people around me, because I'm like, they're just stupid. And that was in my late 20s, early 30s. Look at me now, 56, and I don't have no faith in people in my own age group, because logic and thinking have left the building. But what I am thankful for is young children like my daughter. She said, well, where can I find their policies? Because I've taught my daughter. But I tell my children to look at policies. They pretty much know that. I'm like, whatever it is that you look at the policies and determine if you can stand the policies. Not the personalities, the policies. Because the policies are what you're going to have to live with. So when she was talking about DC, because she was like, well, they all saying, I say they saying the same thing because they all the same people. You don't have any real options in DC because they're all the same people. What I don't like about DC is it's really no diversity of policies or thought, because you only have one ruling party. I don't like when it's lopsided. To me, it should be half and half, or what is it? A mixture, Democrat, Republican, Independent, or Libertarian. But it's not that way. So that's why I'm in DC. Like, do I really want to go out here? But I'm gonna go out here just for the simple fact that, like I said, I'm voting against Janice and females. Period. End of story. Because the last thing I want, and I know a lot of people gonna be mad, I don't want any more liberal female women in office. And I pray to God it stops. Because this delusional make-believe land, now they playing up in Massachusetts, trans menstruation. They had a whole thing, spent dollars. That woman got enough going on up there. They can't even pay the public defenders. You have criminals going out on the street, which is what they want anyway, because they don't have defense, because they're not funding the public defenders properly. But she wants to have period trans menstrual. What? Are you kidding me? Those are not needful things. It's not even a real thing. It's not even real. That's why I get them out of here. Get them gone. And you talking about safe injection sites, but the thing I want DC residents, most of the people that are in there, that have been in the council, they've been in the ANC, they've been in a lot of places in DC already. So we know what they on. Just like decriminalization of the fare for Metro. I said, I was done. That was the final finish for me with Trayvon. I've been finished with him. But I said, these fools are going to vote him in again. And they did. Y'all did. You don't vote to decriminalize something because you're giving it a pass. So now that it's a problem, and it's a problem, Metro is going to be out here talking about doing enforcement. But you've already allowed, the council has already allowed it to go out and happen. So these criminal-minded individuals, which they cater to and make excuses for every day, and weaken laws and tell police they can't go after and do this, that, and the other, and then they encourage them to manipulate crime stats, because I know they didn't just do that out of the thin air. Those people were involved. So if you find somebody on the ballot that has not been around in city politics forever, that's who you need to go for. It's enough of the career people. They keep the problems going because it keeps them in a seat. The term limits are now. Since y'all can't vote these people out, y'all let people sit for 30-something years, and then all it does is get worse. The school system is trash. I don't care what the numbers tell you. Obviously, they pad nose and manipulate nose too. I knew that years ago. Just looking at some of these kids. Can't even talk, can't spell. The literacy rate is terrible. Talking about how they coming into college unprepared, taking remedial courses. That's not a winning system. That's not doing well in schools. Spending all what the money is. The money is not going on the students. It's not going on literacy. It's not going on things that matter. These people talk a good game. They all need to go, but the options are limited. But I would tell you to start there. Anybody that's been there for the past decade plus don't need to be there no more. But then, like I said, in the case of DC, it really doesn't matter if you change out seats or put different people in, because it's going to be the same trash or even worse. Safe injection sites, you already have that. And people are still ODing. I saw some stupid commenter say, oh, well, that'll help with OD. No, it doesn't. People are still ODing. Like, do you ever cut the lights on your brain and dust the cobwebs off, people? They're still ODing. But it's no reason to keep giving or supporting people drug habits, because depending on the drug, if they can't get access to it, the safe injection site is closed, what they gonna do? They might rob, steal, or kill for it. Don't we have enough of that going on? Is there anything that you all want boundaries on? But somewhere, somebody that's saying just what that young lady said when the guy asked her about voting for Karen Bass, is some limited-minded individual thinking like that young lady. And that's the problem. That's the problem. It's so many more, but that's the problem. You don't need safe injection sites. They need drug programs, or they need to be somewhere housed with the politicians that love to make bad decisions and encourage them and enable them to stay on drugs. A drugged population is better to manage and manipulate, because all you got to do is give them some drugs and they'll love you. What Scarface say? Another Quaalude, you love me again? Yeah. Doing everything to keep people dependent on something. Aren't we drugged up enough? Keeping the drug dealers and the pharmaceutical companies paid, and keeping everybody as prey. Because if you don't have the money, or the safe injection site is not open, Miss Lewis, can they come to your house and get the drugs that they need, or do the drugs out of the way of people on the street and children? Because children don't need to run across anybody doing drugs or see them linked over. You don't think that has an effect on children or families, or have, they can't get in, so they want to rob, they go home, and they want to bust in people's house because they need the money, because the safe injection site is closed. They don't have access, so they want to go see Ricky and them down on the street, down on the corner and out there on the street, but they don't have the money. So they see Miss Brenda, who they've known for years, walking down the street on her way coming from work, and they hit her upside the head and take her money. They don't need any more safe injection sites. How about safe literacy sites? How about detox? Random and mandatory. And some classes and some trades or something. Y'all don't offer nothing but drugs, dance, music, sex, and hoemance. Because it ain't romance. Dance, music, sex, and hoemance. Twerking, drugs. Look at Oregon. They have legalized every drug known. But now they want to outlaw and ban hunting, fishing, and I forgot there's something else. Like, how people gonna eat? Oh, supposed to eat Bill Gates' fake meat. Yeah, y'all take a page out of my book, my daughter's book, and a lot of other, because it's a lot of young people that are not as slow brained as some schools are teaching, and I thank God for that. Go read, go look at some policies, but make some quality decisions over just going along for stupid or fitting's sake. Merry Monday. Let me go in here and get my day popping. See, oh, the director, his birthday, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. So we probably have cake today.